Eric Ho is a renowned international speaker, serial entrepreneur, best-selling author, and philanthropist. Eric travels the world and inspires people to live life to their highest potential. He has shared the stage with world-class leaders such as Richard Branson and James Caan, and has shared his teachings with thousands of individuals around the world. From a young age, Eric was determined to succeed. Never the academic type, Eric dropped out of college at the age of 19 and found himself stuck working 100-hour weeks in a burger van. Feeling lost, Eric applied his entrepreneurial passion and through a lot of hard work accomplished his dream of creating a global QSR franchise. Within 5 years, Eric set up multiple successful businesses and became financially free by the age of 24. With various streams of passive income, supercars, dream houses and other luxuries, Eric was living what seemed to be the perfect life. It was not long after that Eric fell into deep depression, searching for the meaning of life. During a trip to Africa, Eric found his purpose and drive through helping those in need. He founded Age Giving in 2010 and built his own orphanage in Kenya, which today provides home and education for over 300 orphans. Eric's passion for helping others inspired him to share his business experience and knowledge. He began holding motivational seminars and has become a celebrity speaker. He founded H Academy, an inspirational platform that reaches and educates thousands of people around the world. Today, Eric teaches the importance of balance between wealth and happiness. Having gone through his own spiritual path and growth journey, Eric talks about his understanding of modern-day spirituality, where balance of self-realization, self-mastery, and wealth can coexist. Eric is a true life example that living a heart-centered life and generating wealth through serving others can be achieved. Eric has expanded to an exciting and diverse portfolio of businesses, from an international swimming academy to a high-end fashion label, and is always looking for the next opportunity to invest and serve more people. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Ho.
Everybody, please stand up, and give it up for the amazing Eric Ho!
Are you ready? Give me yes! Give me yes! Give me yes! I can't hear you. I asked, are you ready? Give me yes! Give me yes! Give me yes! Give the person next to you a high five, say, I'm ready! Thank you. Take your seats, please. Take your seats, please. Take your seats, please. Take your seats. Thank you. Seriously, I mean, we ran this program all around the world over the last 3 years, and to hundreds and thousands of people, and never, really never, I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, never have we had energy at the beginning of the day like this. Either, I don't know what you guys had for breakfast. I think it's pretty good. We got a very, very special event this weekend. The reason being, you know, we usually have a set schedule for Superpower Lives lined up for the year. This one was a last-minute add-on because our last one was only 2 months ago. And we added this on because there's something that we are launching, something really, 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 really big. And I want you guys to be a part of it. Would you guys like to know what it is?
Yes!
Ooh. I'll draw out for you so you get an idea of what we've been doing, because over the years, I've built several businesses in different industries. And then what happened was I was asked to speak on some shows, and then I got into this events business. Oh, that's romantic on this side. What's going on? Okay. Asked to speak on some events. And then suddenly I became this international speaker. I don't know what happened. And then I started traveling the world. And then while meeting more people out there, I found actually the biggest thing in this whole events business, if you call it that, was actually in the networking and the collaborations that were formed throughout the rooms. We got 3 days together here. What does that mean? It means that some of you, how many of you are in business already, by the way, if you're in business already? Okay, cool. That's a lot more than usual. And how many of you are looking to start a business? Anybody looking to start a business? Right. Okay, cool. And then the rest of you don't know why you're here. I don't know. I kept getting these text messages, like text messages, emails, and I just thought, oh, why not, you know? Right now, even if some of you don't know why you're here, I think by the end of it, you'll know why you were here. We're going to create a lot of changes here. And the thing is, throughout this, you know, when we started the H Academy, what we found was we were building a lot of database. We were offering products and services online and offline. We were meeting people at networking events. We were hosting programs as big as 5,000 people with Richard Branson. We've got a one later this year with Les Brown. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the name. So he's going to be speaking at our Masters of Success event this end of this year. We've got another collaboration with Will Smith as well, out in Asia towards the end of this year as well. So there's a lot of big things happening. But the thing is, we've been gathering a lot of database, a lot of leads, forming a lot of connections. Connections being the average person out there, all the way to your different, you know, successful entrepreneurs, millionaires, billionaires, influential leaders, investors. And with all of this database, right, that is built within the H Academy now, if I really look at it, with our products and services, we can probably serve around maybe less than 1% of the people. Because yes, we form all these collaborations, we meet all these people, but we haven't got all the products and services that everybody needs out there. Does this make sense, by the way? And so over the last 2 years, what I found was, hey, actually, from rooms like this, for example, Sia Howard being one of them, we had Sia Howard, which was, she was a London designer, fashion designer. Anybody in the room in fashion, by the way? Okay, a few of you. So attending one of our events, then through, again, a 3-day program, we built a relationship, and I thought, wow, I really like what this person stands for. I love the products, but then you have some people in this world where they have great ideas, they have great products, they have great services, but for some reason, there's some resources that may be lacking, so they can't get that thing out there, right? And so when I seen that, I thought, but we have the audience. I said, I have the audience, and we have the investment money. And so I thought, hey, why not give it a shot? So at that time, I said to Sia, I said, hey, how about let us invest in your brand? And she said, wow. Really? I said, yes. And then she said, okay, so how would that work? Well, I said, well, if we invest in your brand, then we'd negotiate on a percentage of the company, right? So now I own, I think, 45% of Sia Howard. And then what she does all the work, we put the investment in, and just a few months ago, we were out in Paris fashion show. We were at Pure London. We were on Vogue magazine. So we could launch it all out there. And now we sell dresses anywhere from £2,000 up to £22,000. From just what 2 years ago was just another designer in London. And when I seen that, I thought, wow, there's certain things that we have this leveraging platform that other people can leverage off and really shine on here. And we can create a win-win situation. Does this make sense? And so leading on from there, then we did the same thing with what we call the ISA, International Swimming Academy, right? Some of you may be familiar with it because we were on BBC and all that type of stuff. We got millions trending. It was everywhere when we launched it. Again, a couple attended an event, and then I thought, wow, what you do is really cool, and they're really passionate about it. I don't know if you've seen before, and I wasn't aware of this. And this is why, actually, this room is not just about you guys learning this weekend. I will also learn a lot from you guys. Because this couple, what they did was they taught babies how to swim. Now, I didn't know, like, I was like, okay, swimming lessons. Well, why would that be so cool? And then what happened was they invited me to their place because they said to me, they said, Eric, did you know the third biggest reason for children's death is drowning? And so they have this big purpose and this big mission to teach this thing. And then they invited me the following week. And, actually this deal, this investment deal, they kind of baby closed me. When you see a baby and the baby's so cute and you're like, okay, what investment do you want? Just take it all. I was at the pool and it was shocking. I go to the swimming pool where they're training, and then they say, Eric, watch this. Then they pick up the baby, right? You're talking about, 8-month-old baby. They pick up the baby from the mother, then they go like this. I'm like, what? What are you doing? Then boom, sink, up. Then what they do is they guide with their hands up, and then it's like training dolphins. It's really weird. And then it's just like they're floating. And then they teach them to roll over, swim, roll over, float. And I was like, wow, never seen this before. They said they took this course from America, and they brought it over here. They want to franchise it. I said, franchise it? I said, that's really cool, because I used to be in franchising. I said, I have all operations manuals. I have all the contract agreements. I said, maybe we could just model it, and I could just partner up. You guys have a great thing here. So that's what we did. And when we did that, we did our first franchise out in Spain. And then what happened was we got onto the BBC and stuff like that and trended millions and millions of shares. And I was like, wow, this is really cool, because now I'm able to not need to do all of the work, but I can use the leverage that I've got to be able to collaborate with different people based on your products, your services, your ideas, and be able to really blow these things up, and impact more lives out there. And at the same time, we make money, create a win-win situation. And so while we've been forming these different collaborations, okay, and by the way, in terms of collaborations, there's two main things we're looking at here. The first thing is any business collaboration where you have a product, you have a service that really serves the marketplace. At first, we don't just collaborate with anybody just because it's going to make money. We need to know that, hey, ethics are there, the values are there, it's really out there to serve people. But then the second part of the collaboration that we're also looking for, by the way, how many of you are actually in business and open to that type of collaboration? Yeah? Nice. Okay, cool. And by the way, you are allowed to raise your hands throughout this weekend. The more you raise your hand, the more I know who you are. Does this make sense? Yeah? There's a lot of you. Got you. There's a lot of you in this room. So, but aside from that as well, the second part of the collaborations is with speakers and coaching. And the reason being is because since last SPL, which was just 2 months ago, we found another new collaboration partner, which was, you can see at the back there, you can have everybody say hi, Peter. Hi, Peter. Everybody say hi, Siki. Hi. Right. So these two were at the last Superpower Live, and we did the same thing. We said, let's plug in, let's collaborate, let's invest together, let's make it work. And what these two guys have done is they've taken our whole events company business and they're launching it. So we've got our first event, I don't even know, in 3 weeks' time? In Slovakia? In 3 weeks' time. Is anybody from Slovakia in this room, by the way? Okay, there's 2 of you. Yeah, you can make friends. But we have a lot of Slovakian crew here as well this weekend. And so that's why they're here right now to do all the trainings ready to launch in 3 weeks' time. The idea is this. What we found is, okay, first off, we have an events business which forms all these connections with people, right? And that's really great because we can do loads of different JVs. But aside from that as well, what we found is, oh, well, actually, this business of helping people is really cool because we change lives. Every single week, we're running events, we change lives. And I was like, that's really cool. But there's only one of me. And while I, over the past 3-4 years now, have been traveling Malaysia, Singapore, US, everywhere, all around speaking, it gets quite tiring. And now I live on the plane more than I live at home. And quite frankly, it's a really interesting thing because they say, be careful what you wish for. It was around 4 or 5 years ago, I seen this speaker. He's like, traveling everywhere. I was like, I want to do that. Oh, the year after, I spoke at 72 events all around the globe, and I was like, I want to be home. So those of you, anybody like traveling here? Okay, you guys do it. so, so the whole idea throughout this program now, I was thinking, okay, that's really cool. People go through our trainings. They understand the mindset stuff. They understand the business stuff. They understand the values of it. They understand the impact and the leadership side of it. And I said, if they're going to go through this training anyway, and you guys are going to be trained up in it, then what about some possibilities of anybody in this room who is open to, actually, I can see myself making a change to people's lives. I can see myself with maybe a bit of guidance in how to position yourself, how to get the global gigs and stuff. I can see myself doing what you're doing. I mean, how I look at it is like this. Some people I know in this room will be sitting there thinking, but Eric, that's really not for me. Like, I'm a shy person. Yeah? I was a shy person too. I need to know that I was the shyest kid in school. I was so shy, people didn't know I could speak. Like, really. I used to sit in the corner of the classroom, face goes red. Every moment, someone look at me, my face would go red. Right? I was like that all through growing up, and it wasn't until 4 or 5 years ago when I learned this skill. And it's learnable, right? Point to the person next to you and say, that means you can do it too. And so I learned to communicate. I learned to communicate to the masses. I learned to deliver in this way. And so when it's learnable, I thought, that's really good. Because number one, how many of you like the idea of being able to help people, transform lives, change lives? Okay, make an impact. That's our greatest need, the need for contribution. But aside from that, it's a very, very well-paid thing. If you know how to monetize it, that is. I had one gig 2 years ago, about 90 minutes. I made £120,000. 90 minutes, 120. Some of you are thinking, that's not impressive, Eric. Well, for me, it was okay, right? So it's okay, and like we hold weekend events, weekend after weekend events. Everyone would be at least like 5-6 figure at least. And when I seen it, I thought, actually, this is a very lucrative market. So that's why I want everybody in this room, because you may have your reasons to why you're here this weekend, but I want you to do this. Everybody do this with me now. Repeat after me. My mind is open. I want you all to keep an open mind, because you never know what you might take away from this weekend. You never know what collaborations may happen. Had Sia Howard not got herself up in the morning and sat in one of these rooms, she wouldn't have done all the Vogue and fashion show and everything, right? So we never know what's going to happen. So this is the whole thing and the whole reason why we decided, hey, actually right now, because we've actually committed with these two partners out there, we've also just, they found a partner out in Dubai as well. So we've committed to 21 countries. Now 21 countries, the sound of that to me is like, you guys go. So I would much rather if we can bring people along this journey, train them along this journey, and then you guys go impact lives and make money as well, and let's all do this together, because I believe that one person can only do so much, but together we can really make a difference in this world, right? The whole basis of this is around a theory that I learned from Jarek Robbins, a good friend of mine. Those of you who've never heard of Jarek before, you should check him out. It's Tony Robbins' son. Really, really good guy. I was out in LA with him just a couple of weeks ago. And one of his messages really landed to me about 3 years ago when we were out in Thailand. He said, Eric, this is life. And he wrote a book on this. He said, what? Learn it? He said that if we look at life, how we live our lives, a lot of the time we're always learning. We're always trying to learn more, trying to figure out different things, our curiosity. And then a lot of the time when we've learned something, we would try implement these things in our lives. So we would start living it. We would trial and error, test different things, what works, what doesn't. And when we find things that work, is it not true that sometimes when we have satisfied kind of our need, and we kind of have figured it out for ourselves, the next thing, we just have this urge. We have this urge that we want to kind of pass it on or share with other people how to do it or teach other people. How many of you know what I'm talking about, right? Right? Tony Robbins has 6 basic human needs. He said the greatest need is the need for contribution. You know, it's when we're kind of like satisfied, we want to contribute beyond ourselves. And so he says, this is kind of life. Our lives, we keep going out there, learning different things. When we practice it, we get it. When we get it, we just really want to pass it on. This is the nature of how this whole thing just recycles, goes on and on forever. And when I seen this, I thought, that's really cool. Why? Because H Academy, very simple. We want to make as big as an impact as we can in this world. Again, there's only one of me. Now, when H Academy is an educational platform, then, okay, we allow everybody else to learn. Then what happens is, you guys go, you live it. When you live it, you pass the message on, you give it. Right? That's how we make a bigger impact. Before Chibaria mentioned, there was one of our inner circle members who actually came on board to one of our high training programs, and his name's Nadeem. He may pop in this weekend. And what actually happened afterwards was he went out there and he closed a $100 million deal. $100 million. I'm not so good at math, so I don't know how many zeros. I think there's quite a few in that. Now, put it into context. I've never closed a $100 million deal before. And so when you kind of teach somebody a way to pitch for investment, to find investors, to do this stuff, and somebody kind of like goes beyond that, it's kind of impressive. I'm like, wow, that's really cool, right? And then now what they've done is they've got their own educational platform where they're reaching out to people out there now and teaching other people how to do it. And then he's passing it on. And I think that's really cool. There's I have a master out in Bali a few years ago. He taught me something that just has stuck by me for the last few years. And he said that we live in an interesting world where everybody is competing. They all see each other as competition. They all see like, oh, I'm not going to, like, if I have a secret recipe, I'm not going to share with you, because if I share with you, you're going to steal my recipe. Like, everybody's kind of like in this scarcity world. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Yeah? And what people don't realize, there's an abundance of wealth, of things we can do out there. And what this master said to me, he said, when other people win, we do not lose. When other people win, we do not lose. That message really landed for me at that moment. And I thought, if we create a platform where we keep allowing people to win, stop sticking in that scarcity mindset. Instead, if you become an even better speaker or you become even wealthier than me, that's really great. We should celebrate. Because when you become very great, I don't lose anything. Right? It's good for me on loads of different aspects. If you believe in karma, it's good for my karma too, right? And so when I started figuring that out, I thought, that's really cool. So there's 2 things we do through this program like this. When we take people through this journey, either one, you learn it, you live it, you go out, you give it. Alternatively, you learn it, you live it, we come together and we make an impact together out there. We collaborate.